Didn't mean to get that close. Oh, hey guys, today we're going to talk about my TEMU boat and its little story so far. Pulled off the outer box and we get to see it in yellow, and that's the same yellow they used on fire trucks in the 1970s, and it hasn't gotten any better. It's just ugly. So there was another option, and I chose the other option because I hate that color so bad. So I got the red one. And let me tell you, when it came out of the package, I was pretty underwhelmed. Actually, the stand was the best part of the whole deal. Originally, the stickers, I think they were originally, the phrases they were going to put on it were written in a different language and translated to English, and not necessarily well. So kind of looking at the features, trying to figure out what everything is, because I had zero knowledge or experience with RC boats at this point. Now I've got a tiny little bit, but I'm looking at it and I'm just really underwhelmed. Everything felt kind of cheap and chintzy, and I was pretty sure I had just wasted money. Couldn't even get the engine cover off well. Then we get a first peek at the electronics in there, and you can tell already that they're just kind of cheap junk. Anytime they don't even bother to put any kind of anything on the motor, you can tell they're cheap and junky. It's kind of hard to get the engine cover back on, so we're getting a look at it. And right here, this is the worst part, and it still bugs me to this day. See how the engine cover there is a different color than the rest of the hull? Yeah, that's disappointing. So we took it out to the lake, and there's John's big TFL boat, and there's Noel's M41, and there's Josh's M41, and you can see my little TEMU boat off to the side there looking dwarfed and pathetic and small. Then we get out in the water. These are my friends' boats. Let's just watch them for a second. They're big, huge, and fast. And they look awesome. They even sound good. They sound like like the big jet hydroplanes I used to watch on TV when I was a kid, like Miss Budweiser and all. Isn't that awesome? Let's see how ours does. Oh, here goes the TEMU boat. And yes, lakes in West Texas have brown water. That's just part of living here. So it's actually not that bad. If it wasn't for my friends having those bigger, faster, cooler boats, I probably would have been fairly happy with this thing. If you're going to be all by yourself, or it's just you and your kid, get a couple of these. They're fun. You'll enjoy it. I'll point out something here in a minute that you'll probably want to check and fix. But you could have a lot of fun with this if your friends weren't out there with rocket ships. I kind of feel like a kid that brought a tricycle to the play date and everybody else is on two-wheelers. And that feeling didn't go away all day. I had fun, but it was, I mean, you can just see the disparity right there between mine and John's boats. I just felt like, I don't know, it did not feel good. We'll just watch them run for a second. Now when I did bring it in on this one, the motor was really, really hot. The ESC, the battery, the servo, everything else was fine, but the motor got pretty hot, and it's supposed to be water cooled. So that kind of turned out to be a foreshadowing thing for future issues I had with this little thing when I tried to hop it up some. Not tried to, I actually did hop it up. So anyway, there's the factory electronics. You see the sticker on the battery doesn't even wrap around and stay put. They're cheap. But like I say, if it's just you and your kid, or you and your one buddy, if you got two of these and you didn't have a bunch of overpowered rocket ships flying around you, you'd probably have a good time with them. But start taking it apart. First thing, there's a drain right there in the back. I'm going to pry it out, and this is how much water it took on in stock form after being in the lake for probably 6 to 10 minutes, something like that. It's almost none. When I took it out the last time with all the hop ups in it, it took on more than that, but I think it's because I used a much thinner grease lubricating the prop shaft, and I think the water came up the tube for that. And here you can see that water jacket that's supposed to seal around the motor, and then there's high pressure water right by the prop that's forced up through one tube and then out through the tube on the side. So anyway, we start ripping out the electronics. Had to cut the cover off to unplug the servo. Had to cut the cover off the ESC to see the servo, and that's when I noticed it had 5 wires, and I knew the new servo only had place for 3, so we're gonna have to get a new servo as well. And the way it mounted meant my brand new servo was gonna have to get hacked on to fit, because it doesn't mount in a standard way. That little strap there holds it in place. Alright, it's kind of a pain to get the wire shoved through. It's kind of like a lawnmower throttle. Now we're just seeing how cheap and crappy the servo is there. So anyway, that's what we got there, and that's what the boat looks like with all the electronics ripped out. And the little sensor there, it's supposed to have continuity only when it's in the water. That doesn't work. It just didn't work. So we got that all ripped out, and we got new stuff. Got a Ghoul RC from Amazon, $39.39. The motor's a little shorter, but it is brushless, so it makes more torque, more power. The big problem was that we had 2 different shaft sizes, and the new one had a larger shaft size, which let me get it going better. Had to buy 2 servos, but at $888 I'm not complaining, and I still have a spare. So to make the little drive coupling fit, I had to drill it out, and I gotta tell you guys, I was nervous about doing that, because if I ruined it, the odds of being able to find a new one, like this year, would have been probably not good. But we drilled it out, and then once it was all drilled out, grabbed the new motor, give it a test, and man, it fit good. It was super tight. Hooray! I was excited about that. Then we found out the holes in the motor were different, so I had to do some modification there. Got that done. Motor's mounted. You can see it's already starting to get full with the new ESC and motor and receiver. And I had to figure out a place to put the power switch that would stay out of the servo. It's tight. And that's when I discovered that the water jacket didn't fit tight on the motor, so I came up with the plan to wrap it in this foil tape that they use for air conditioning. First, we did a little science to make sure it conducts heat, because if it insulated heat, then the water jacket cooling wouldn't do any good. So by putting the soldering iron there on one side and making sure if the temperature spread out across it, that told me it was heat conductive and that it would work. Now my heat gun was acting silly, but it's a cheap Harbor Freight one. It said it was 88 degrees, but it was burning my fingers, so I'm pretty sure it was hotter than 88 degrees. But it was spreading out pretty good, and there were some heat marks on the wood underneath from going through the tape. So I knew at this point it was conductive, and that told me my plan had a pretty good chance of working. So now we got to take it all apart. Motor's got to come back out. And that's what we're working on now. So motor comes out. Okay guys, you can see the little rubber sleeve around the outside. That thing was the bane of my existence for a while. The original plan, there was a split sleeve that went around the motor that you can kind of see there underneath it. You can see it a lot better now. So I took it from the old motor, put it on the new motor. Based on the way the rubber was made, I thought if I indexed it just right on there, then it would seal and everything would be fine. It wasn't. I would blow in one side and air would come out through the split or around the edge. It just was not sealing at all. So I came up with a plan, put the sleeve back on the original motor and checked to see what the diameter was. And then I knew I needed to get the new motor to that same diameter or maybe slightly larger. So kind of brainstormed on that, and I thought about the foil tape that they use for air conditioning ducts to seal those up. I went and bought a roll of that, and I cut strips and wrapped it around it. And you'll see my methodology. I cut strips the same width as the sleeve, a foot long, wrapped them around, and then smoothed it out with a Sharpie until I got it super smooth in an effort to try to get it to seal. That didn't work. So then I tried some, put a little grease where the rubber met the metal. It still wouldn't seal. And I was all kinds of frustrated, so I pulled the sleeve off and got to looking at it, and the nipple that's for the water to go out to the side of the boat wasn't perforated all the way through. So if you buy one of these and your motor gets hot, there can be a defect in there, and if you find it, you can just run a drill bit down through the nipple and open it up to where it goes all the way through. Now, of course, you will have had to take your brand new boat nearly all the way apart to get to it, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. So you can see we're wrapping it around, got a few wrinkles, and kind of guessed around, and the Sharpie did take them all out. But once I opened up once I perforated the nipple through to the inside of that sleeve like it's supposed to be, it was super easy to seal. I felt a whole lot better about it, but it was a difficult thing to find, and it was just really frustrating. So now we got the diameter up where it needs to be. Put the sleeve on, and like I say, after I found out that one hole wasn't perforated, it all made sense and got much, much easier to fix. So there we go, wrapping around some more foil tape, smoothing it all out. And so now we got it in there and it's sealed, and we headed back to the lake. And I also changed the stickers. I kind of made the stickers look like the old Miss Budweiser boat from the 80s. And then the U812, Van Halen had a album called OU812, so I kind of copied that. And I flipped it right off the bat. So I pulled out the electronics, dried them, and we did some medical adhesive tape over the where the two pieces of the hole meet. And there it was yesterday. Okay, just kind of getting a feel for it. Now we're giving it some throttle. Yeah, that boat's a lot faster than it used to be. I also put a better battery in it, so absolutely nothing electronic that's in it right now is anything that came with the boat. I did run it for just a few minutes. You don't leave boats, you don't just run them for a half hour like you do land-based stuff. You kind of gotta bring them in and cool them off every so often, because this is just super hard on the electronics, because you just pin them and go. There's no reason to let off the throttle to make them turn or anything. You can see it kind of, it took on some water. It did that in the past, and it took on a tiny bit of water in the past, and it would like kill it. And now, here in just a second, you'll see me stop, and when I throttle it, it just pops right up out of the water, gets on plane and goes. The new battery made a huge difference, but you can see now that it's much faster than it was in stock form, and faster is more fun. One thing you can't see in the video, and I tried to zoom it in and everything to where I could show it, but I just couldn't get it done. Technology limitations. The little vent coming out the side where the water jacket ejects water was a solid stream that was clearing the side of the boat by 3/4 of an inch to an inch. It was like pressurized coming out. So that problem is solved, and it showed itself in the fact that the motor gained absolutely no heat. I was really tickled with that part. Alright, when I brought it in, the ESC was pretty hot, the battery was warm, but the motor was actually like ambient temperature. All those changes to the water jacket worked. And now we're sitting here just looking at the boat, and my final thoughts. If you're going to be the only guy with the boat, just get one of these, enjoy it, have fun with it, because it is about the cheapest way. I would recommend, if you're going into an actual lake instead of a swimming pool or a retention pond or something, to get one that's at least probably 18 inches at a minimum. If you live in a place that's not very windy. A boat smaller than that is just going to get beat around by the waves, and you'll never be able to run it, except for, you'll have a few minutes here and there just before a front hits or something. Putting all the mods in it, the boat's pretty good right now. It's fun. It's still a bit smaller than what I'd like for it to be. So, in the future, if I'd known now if I knew then what I knew now, would I have purchased this? Probably not. I probably would have tried to find a good used M41 or like something bigger and more powerful. But it's a fun boat. It was a fun project, and I'm proud of how much I improved it. Anyway, y'all have a great time, and we're going to probably do some more boating stuff pretty soon on RC Rustamod.